Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Artcast. My, it has been a while. This is the art cast, or the title card I made for the 2020 Halloween list. 13 more weird Halloween episodes, specials. And, yeah, I've had this idea kicking around the back of my head for a while. It's just the Chipettes and the Powerpuff Girls switch their costumes. I I forget this. I think this was even before familiar faces or the internet reviewing was a thing. I just had the idea of okay, well, let's see what's cute. It would be neat if the Powerpuff Girls and the Chipettes switched costumes, and I sat on that for a while. Never did anything with it, and that's just sat in the back of my head for like years and years and years. And then a couple days ago, I finish making a new Halloween video because I know people love those so much, and I've gotten I would get messages. I knew people wanted it because I would just post on other people's videos. Like I sometimes post on Castle Super Beast to comment there. On Fact Fiend, I will post a comment there, and people will say, they'll give me a like, a heart, and then say, when are you gonna make another? I hope you're gonna make a Halloween video. And I originally I wasn't. And how can I put this? Okay, just a quick rundown of personal things that are going on now, because I know some people could be sick of this, but I know some people are sincerely interested in what's going on, especially with with the family. Um, where to even begin? Grandma has been clinically diagnosed with anemia, and so she has had to. We are now. She's getting prepared to have some examination. They're going to go down her throat, and they're going to look and see if there's any sort of ulcer or any kind of bleeding, because her samples always come back clean. There's no traces of what could be going wrong in there, or she could just not be producing the blood she needs, which can happen. She doesn't have leukemia because they of course they tested for that right off the bat. But anyway, she's in good health now. It was touch and go during the summer. It kind of always is, because there's a point where she doesn't have these regular doctor visits, and she will start to kind of fail again. In that case, I never leave her side, and I stay close to her, and then try to make her as comfortable as possible. And then she'll get a few transfusions, and she'll be up in fighting spirit again. Not fighting weight, but in spirit. So yeah, it's just touch and go there with that. And of course, you got COVID, so I've been trying to make sure that she does not mitigate all sort of just anything that she may need, like going to the store, just kind of making sure everything's nice and clean. So yeah, that's just and that takes up a lot of time. So that's sort of where that is in my life and where priorities are. Then you've got my mother, who has been recently diagnosed with a hernia. I keep switching up hernia and hemorrhoid. She's got basically just a little mass in her stomach. Just because she's like my grandmother, she will fight a couch 100 pounds her superior, and she will move it and jerk it around and try to move it around different rooms. Especially with me watching over grandma and her still working at the hair salon. She wears a mask and wears gloves and disinfects and everything. but we've sort of kind of limited certain contacts. But she's got that, and she's going to prep for surgery because and that's another thing. Both of them scheduled their nuclear heart test, nuclear stress test, a chemical stress test, basically, and they both booked that on the same day. That was earlier this week. For those who don't know, what they do is they shoot you up with a chemical, and it kind of makes your heart race, and they make sure that you're okay for any sort of procedure that will require anesthesia. And they booked that both the same day, and we kind of ran around from Central Hospital to this one clinic. They take grandma up into this big van. They got a mobile van because it's in front of the heart doctor, and it's more like a medical plaza, and they don't have the equipment, so they have to bring in this. It reminded me of in my elementary school. They didn't build any new buildings, but what they did do is that they brought in trailers for when they started teaching preschool. So you had, I guess you had, maybe they picked up kindergarten too. But anyway, you had like 1 through 6. And then when the school needed to start having those younger kids, they brought in 2 big trailers. And those just became sort of fixtures in the landscape of the school. And they stuck out like a sore thumb. That's what it kind of looked like. That's what it reminded me of. But anyway, yeah. And also my little brother's having a baby. And mother has been running around getting ready for that. She's just over the moon. My brother is happy as well. And of course he's a Navy boy. He's out of state right now. So we're all sort of wondering and lots of balls in the air, let's just say that. So again, it was actually a miracle that I was able to make a Halloween video. Actually, you know what? It's not a miracle. It's just me learning fights to pick and what to... Basically, how to write. I think I've actually grown as a writer more than anything, because back in the old days, I remember... There was one Halloween where I was going to include when good ghouls go bad, and then I wrote this whole thing, and it was enough to be its own script, and I made a separate video on that. And it was very much in the old style of the internet reviewing, where you have to go over every little detail, and it's like, oh, that's a weird thing. Oh, that's another weird thing. I'll include that. I'll make a joke about that. You craft this huge, long video essay. I often look back at Red Letter Media and think about those early Star Wars reviews. And I think about how that whole thing could have pretty much been condensed. If you take out all the inconsistencies with like the lore and script, problems, and you take out all the sort of personal opinions of like, oh, well, I don't like this character, or this character's bland and boring. If you take all that out and you focus on what really doesn't make the movies work, which is that George is not a actor's director. Doesn't let them. He had to let Mark Hamill and all the others act, because he couldn't control what they were doing. But then he has all this new technology. He's got all this sway later on in his life, and he can kind of literally direct people how to act. And it was a very bland performance, and there were technical issues because he hadn't figured out how to shoot in green screen. You look at Titanic earlier, and then you can see that they were making a ship look bigger by having these huge foam green panels that they would then push around and move around actors to make the space look bigger. It was using green screen more effectively than I'd say we even do now. There's some movies that are really good, just replacing the whole environment. And then there's some movies that are just like, well, not to put it down. I mean, it was strictly within their budget limitations, but you got Bill and Ted, Face the Music. And there are just a lot of empty spaces that make it look bigger than usual. I'm one to talk. I'm trying to shoot it on a green screen now. I just dug this up. I got I don't know what this was. This was an old product I got at a Best Buy. It was called something called the V-Star or something or other. Anyway, it came with a green screen, and you just it came with a green screen, a camera, and a CD. And what you do is it had scenes with actors digitally removed out of them, and you could then put yourself into the scene by acting. Would actually have been good. I don't know what the logistics of it were, but this was before YouTube and everything. It would have been a great bit to build up an early YouTube audience. But getting back to the point, this is like, if you focus on what really matters and the point you're trying to make, you can make like a 15-minute video 2 minutes. And that's the truth. Long short of it. And then you include a joke, your favorite joke. That's what I tried to do now. Is like when you're writing an essay, you pick up the main point first, you bury the lead, get to the main point, sprinkle in like a few little anecdotes, a few observations, and your favorite joke. And then you can actually kick out a video pretty fast. I mean, you don't have to like waste your time and the audience's time. I know people love those overly long video essays, and I do too, but God, I was just surprised how fast I could just get it done. Also, I found a used graphics card. It was, let's see, I've been working on a GeForce 730 that miraculously has OBS capabilities. I've bought other ones off of eBay for like $60, and they did not have that capability. They just, I don't know why. Actually, I do know why. It's very technical. It depends on builds and stuff like that. But I got a new graphics card. It is a GTX 1650 overclocked edition, and it runs everything faster. Everything. My video editing, of course, has sped up exponentially. Frickin' truck. I have. There were points where the video would just start and stop, and you'd have to wait for my old PC to start. It would just chug away. I couldn't jump from point to point in a video because there would be such a pause. Now you think like maybe 10 seconds doesn't add up, but it really does. It adds up in the fact that you've wasted 10 seconds, and if you got to do that like over the course of a minute, then you've wasted another minute. And also it just breaks the flow of your mental state. You're like, you're doing this, it's a slog. It really is like moving through molasses when you have to work with something. There's this old, there's the old saying, it's not the tools, it's the artist. Sometimes it is. Sometimes the tools are really nice to have. Okay, that's just the long and short of it. You pay your dues, and then you save up, what little you have, and then you buy you improve upon what you have. Pardonnez-moi. I bought this, where is it? Hold on. Oh, hold on. this year I bought an oscillating multi-tool. First of all, just because it's nice to have when you're trying to cut like a straight edge or drywall or something. And I will have to do that. There are a few places that need it here. But also, I got this for pumpkin carving because I saw some guy using it to carve his pumpkins. I was like, oh, that's great. It's so much more detailed and it's faster than just using, a regular old butcher knife and an X-Acto knife and everything. So it's definitely a balance. Anyone that says, oh, when you complain like, oh, if I had this thing, everything would go so much faster. It depends. It really does. Because sometimes you will get that tool and it will just sit there and you won't use it. And then sometimes you'll use it every day of your life because it's indispensable. That's how my tablet was. I got my tablet and it really, really makes everything easier to do when you're drawing on the screen. I was so apprehensive about getting it at the beginning, but now that I have it, it's like, well, I save a little money off the side to make sure that I can replace it in case anything ever happened to it. And that's when it clicks that, oh yeah, sometimes tools are important. Right now I'm filming off of like a webcam I got with my capture card. I would be better if I went in and got my $200 camera that I got for Christmas, my camcorder, because I know it's got way more. It has built-in lenses that are nicer. It has coffee. It has color correction more so than this thing has. I mean, this is just simpler. I just slapped this all together and just kind of came out here and started getting to work. And depending on how this footage turns out, I will know that next time, go in, get your camera, set up your capture card, and run it through to the computer, and you can just do it from there because you'll get a better product. But yeah, I was amazed and surprised and just flabbergasted. I was able to do what usually takes me about 2 months in like a week of solid just buckling down and just doing it. Because when you it made it easier, and I was able to just work in a flow state. And again, I was sticking close to Grandma. What I would do is I'd spend like maybe about 2 hours working on the video, and then whenever I had a chance. So yeah, that was nice. Getting back to the video, I will say that there was complications. I posted it, and people were like super hyped and happy, which warmed my heart to no end. And then I got a copyright claim. I had used what I thought was copyright free music. Hold on, pardon me. Watch my butt. I thought I had used some public domain copyright free music that you can get off of YouTube or whatever. It was from. I really like the music that Red Letter Media, speaking of which, used at the end of their Best of the Worst episode featuring Shark Exorcist, Rock and Roll Nightmare. Was it Rock and Roll Nightmare? Yeah, and then Jacko. Yeah, that was it, Jacko. I remember I decorated the house to that video one year. And I really liked the music that they included at the end. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And I asked around. I think I did that last year. It's like, hey, where's this music from? Like, and of course, I didn't get an answer. Not of course. They just, it's the comment section is huge, and they don't check their Twitter. I should have became Patreon just for that 1 month and then asked them that question. But anyway, I downloaded the music, included it in the video because I figured, okay, well, whatever. If they included it, it must have been available somewhere. And it was available on a website. I don't know it off the top of my head. The name of it, Eclipse something. Apparently, they will provide music to video producers or just any sort of media for a licensing fee. And that licensing fee is $15 a month. And I was like, oh, cool, okay. Well, it got flagged, and I looked on their website, and it says, well, if you get a license, you can have it released if you go through a process. So I sign up for like the lowest, they give you a free, a free sample, free month. And so I signed up and I said, okay, I've got this video and I use some of your music. How can I get it cleared? I am humanizing the website, of course. I'm, of course, clicking around and looking at links and everything. And the long and short of it is that I signed up for the wrong kind of account. I had a personal account, which is $15 a month. The commercial account is $50 a month. I was like, oh, that's steep. But I've been doing okay. And then I was getting ready to pull the trigger, and then I had the thought of, okay, wait, what happens if I stop paying $50 a month? And does that mean that you can? Is that because you have to link your account? You basically say, okay, I'm going to give you my financial link so you can charge me, and a link to my website, YouTube in this case, so you can look and see that I pay a bill and I'm also connected. If I stop paying it, will you pull that license from me, and will that video then become basically your property, even if it's like making no money or just enough to pay the month? Even if I'm losing like $5 a month, like say the video makes nothing, and which is entirely possible, and I'm paying $50 a month to keep it just from making like a few dollars or pennies, or let's say it goes viral and then all of a sudden you get to keep all that money. I never got a straight answer, mainly because they don't have like a contact us section, or at least one that I could find that's easy to interact with. So I just decided, you know what, I'm not getting a good vibe off of this. And I don't know how Red Letter Media, what setup they probably do have the means to like pay, either to straight up buy the license, which was an option, but it's $100 if you just straight up buy the song and say, okay, I have the license for this song. I bought it for $100. Here's my receipt. Clear it. But if I spent that for $100, then you bet that becomes my new theme song. That spooky kind of. I'll put a link in the. It's a good song. I like it. But there are cheaper options. You can go onto YouTube's audio library, and you can go in and just find music for free, or all they ask is that you put it in the description and links in your description and say who made the music and all that. And that's what I did. And that's what I'll do from now on. It was a learning experience. I could have said, oh man, I blew the one big chance of getting this shoving it into the algorithm and getting a big lead on it. Or I could say, hey, you know what? I learned something. I made a mistake. I assumed something that I wasn't sure of, and time to go from there next time. No, there's no... YouTube gives tutorials and all that stuff, but there's so many like different ins and outs and of what's going on and what you can do and the unwritten rules, basically. And it's so automated. Poor Plague of Gripes. He got his Twitch channel hacked and his PayPal hacked. Last time I tweeted it to try to get some eyeballs on it. He said had gotten, the last time I heard from him about it, he tweeted out that he'd gotten some help from people more powerful than him. Whatever, he could have either gotten a more popular influencer to help him out, or he could have like sacrificed a goat on his farm. But anyway, yeah, it's just, there's just so many, you can trip up and it will haunt you. Like back at Blip, I had like millions of views on Blip. Like literally from between the Simpsons video and the My Little Pony video and just a other bunch of really good ones that caught on that guy with the glasses. And then Disney goes and buys Blip and says, "Oh, well, we'll keep it going," and then they shut it down. And then and then you try to post it on YouTube, and YouTube says, "Nope, this is copywritten. We won't. And also we're gonna lock your, we're going to not lock your account, but we're going to demonetize you." And you're like, "Well, okay, I don't care. I'm on Blip." Well, Blip shuts down, and you're like, "Oh crap. Okay, what do I do now?" Make a new channel, repost all your videos, but then those don't get the same eyeballs that they did, and that's that's what happens. Also, there was something else. I was going to say something, and I got distracted. Something, YouTube, something, demonetization. Oh, well. But yeah, it's just, you got to kind of just take everything as a learning experience and go from there. And it can be frustrating when you want to sort of express yourself and also kind of make a little money off the side of it. But, que sera, sera. I see, what are my notes here? Quick rundown. But yeah, let's talk about the art now that it's wrapping up. I had this idea a long time ago, and it bubbled in the back of my head, or it just sprung forth. Basically, I was trying to think of, okay, I could literally I could post something. I could make I could throw together a title card. And then, out of like images from the video, and then just post it and say, "Familiar faces, happy Halloween. You didn't expect this shit to come. Surprise, bitch. Bet you thought you'd see in the last of me." And then I thought, no, I'll do something. I want to have something. And I spent some time avoiding the work, and then I just sat down and did it. There was one point where I was going to have a character, or I was going to say, "This is my title card," like the t-shirt that says, "This is my costume." It was going to be that in orange and white or black. And I was going to say, "This is my title card, familiar faces, weirdest specials." I was like, okay, no, that's still not enough. Maybe if I just draw one character that says, this is my costume, this is my title card in the background. So I was thinking of like, what characters could I do real quick to do that? I was thinking like Enid from the Owl House. No, wait. Enid is from OKKO. I was going to have her in a witch hat and have that t-shirt. Who's the Owl House character? The mentor? I don't know. I can't remember. It's Enid. Enid and Enid. I think those are their names. I was thinking about those two. I was thinking about just like... I was just thinking about characters. And then all of a sudden, I wake up one morning... I'm getting coffee. I'm thinking like title card. I got to do something. I got to pull the trigger. And this idea from my past just popped up, and I was like, "Oh, that's such a cool idea, but that'll take forever." But I sat down, and this was literally I penciled this. I guess that's what you can call it. It's not technically pencil, but I penciled this the morning of all those tests and running around, and then I came back home that afternoon and finished everything up into the night. And again, because of the new graphics card, things run a little smoother. Everything just kind of, it was weird. The pen was a little bit more responsive. Okay, maybe no, I don't think it was. I was going to say I could have just that could have been psychosomatic of me saying, oh wow, I got a new graphics card, the pen works so well. And I don't think so, because even times when I would hit transform, it would take a while. It was a little bit of a lag between the transformation and then it finalizing. But no, this just worked out fine. It just did it. So yeah, I think that might have been also something that happened. But anyway, if you can waste more time avoiding work than you can just getting it done, which is another thing. But anyway, this just came out. I'm not too happy with it. I'm happy with the Powerpuff Girls. There's something weird with the Chipettes faces. I think I got them too pointy. But then again, I was kind of on a crunch, and I didn't want to waste too much time going over the details. I think either that or it's the lack of ears. The chins might be a little bit too pointy, and the fact that there are no ears on the official model sheets. But other than that, I'm actually kind of happy with their poses. Bubbles is just so happy. Janine. She looks like Janine, doesn't she? Either Janine or who's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles girl? Irva. No, Irva. Minerva. No, I forget her name. You know, April's girlfriend. Anyway, she looks like that. She's all grumpy. Like she's got to wear the glasses and everything. And I like the Jeanette being forced to be Bubbles. And in the typical Jeanette fashion, she's just kind of doesn't got herself together. She's got a wig and her hair sticking out from under it. And someone said, "Oh wow, you drew them really a little bit provocative with the stocking hanging down." And I wanted to say that was like on the model sheet, man. I had forgotten just how horny on Maine the 1980s and 90s chipmunks were. I was looking through the official model sheets, and there was like stuff of Britney in like a swimsuit and like high cut dresses, and there you saw one of them. And of course, people probably didn't think anything of that, or they knew exactly what they were doing. And they said, "Oh, this looks nice. I like this." The original designer, I think, was oh God, I said his name in my head like about 3 or 4 times before this video started. Oh, I always hate it when I do that. I blank on something that'll pop up. But anyway, he did like Minerva Mink. I've said his name before. I praised it. I'm one of his biggest fans. It's just that when you're sitting here trying to fill up the empty void of noise, your brain can run away from you. But anyway, that was like, that's not out of the ordinary for the show. First of all, she does wear overly baggy clothes and everything, and she just kind of doesn't. I was thinking, like, would you describe her as a slob? But she's not that. She's just kind of awkward. She's just at that awkward age. She's taller than her sisters, and probably things don't fit. When you're bigger, either taller or wider than your age demographic, things will not. You'll have to make odd compromises because you can't get to a tailor. I was always taller than all the other kids, and I've always had a little bit of a paunch. And then you either wear the extra large, which makes it look like you're you've got like a way bigger shirt on, or you wear a large and you're constantly shifting down your shirt. And my uncle is like that. He was like 6'4" for a good portion of his life. He's like 60 now, so he's shrinking. But for a while there, if he didn't go to a big and tall shop, then he had to just wear just like really awkward fitting clothes. And that's where I think Janine comes from. I was thinking like, wow, this girl's a slob. And it's like, no, she's just kind of at that awkward age where things you don't quite fit in. You literally don't fit in with, well, frankly, you don't fit in with capitalism. They don't make your proportions available to anybody. But anyway, yeah, I just had that was a trip. I stole scenes from the Chipmunks Adventure, and by the end of it, at the end of those movies, those kids are practically naked. So I was like, oh, this is all weird. Hold on, I have a phone. Let me look it up. Animaniacs character designer. And as soon as I see the name, I'm going to like beat myself up for just like losing it. Character designer. Come on. Oh, by the way, Animaniacs, the new thing just dropped. It looks good. Come on. Where's Minerva? Ben, no, I'm thinking Ben Cladwell, but that's a different person altogether. Dan, I'm thinking Dan. I'm thinking. Oh God, this is horrible. Dan. This is horrible and embarrassing and just... I know he has not returned for the new season. They've got all new sort of people. Oh, this is horrible. I'm going to cut all this out. Hold on. Let me just pause everything. Dan Haskett. I am a moron. And I just hit the camera. God, why did that name just blank on me? But anyway, I know he's not available in the new reboot of the Animaniacs or the Tiny Toons, which just dropped yesterday. They're making a reboot of that called Looney Tunes Looniversity. Tiny Toons Looniversity. A lot of people aren't. Like, Tom Ruger is not spearheading anything. He's not involved. Which I think that people have been taking to Twitter and saying that that's not cool. It looks like it's... I don't know what to tell you, people. It's on Hulu, which is owned by Disney. So you're basically watching Disney's Animaniacs. I mean, Warner Brothers is going to use that as a platform. I don't know the logistics of it because I thought that Animaniacs was owned by Warner Brothers, which it might be. But then again, Warner Brothers made right now Kapow for the Disney Channel, even though they could have put that on Cartoon Network. I don't know. There's odd bedfellows everywhere now that we're going into streaming. I know that the things are different because, again, I love Dan Haskett. I don't know why I blanked on his name. I think it's just too early in the morning. But I just blanked on his name. But he's an amazing character designer. Now that the series is being rebooted, there's like there was a huge splash page in like magazines about who the new character designer was for the new Animaniacs. And I think it's a she. I think it's she. She is an amazing, talented designer in her own right. She did, like, there was this model sheet of Tom and Jerry, or it was just Jerry, and it was Jerry's nephew, and there was this amazing expressive designs with their character and just amazing line work and art flow. So there's a reason why she got the job to basically do all the redesigns. But like I said, it's on Hulu. Hulu's owned by Disney now. I don't know if it's just purely a platform thing where they're going to say, "Hey, you can like, yeah, sure, put your show on our platform." Hey, Warner Brothers, you don't have anything. It's like, no, we have DC Nation. It's like you don't have anything. Come put your show on Hulu. It's like, well, why don't we just try Netflix? It's like, yeah, you can do that, or we'll cut you a deal and you can put it here. So yeah, I don't. It's all just kind of becoming a mish. Also, you're probably not going to see a lot of the original Animaniacs characters because, again, if they didn't bother to get Tom Ruger, they sure as hell aren't going to track down Sherry Silverstone, or Sherry Stone. Pardon me, just Silverstone. They're not going to track down Stone, who wrote Minerva Mink, or I think Slappy Squirrel. So people will say, oh, no, you can't, like, the PC culture, they're not going to have, Slappy Squirrel's too old and mean, Minerva Mink's too sexy, which was what they thought back then. No, the long and short of it is probably because they don't want to track down the writers of those original characters and pay them in order to include them. They're going to focus on Pinky and the Brain and the original three Animaniacs. I'm not even sure if Scratch and Sniff's going to be on there, or Hello Nurse. And you could say that it's like, okay, well, we don't need a sexy nurse, and we don't need anyone making fun of psychoanalysts, because that is a legitimate thing now. People go to the psychiatrist to think, to actually help them with their problems. But on the other hand, you can still have fun with doctors, make jokes about them. I think it's more, again, quite down to logistics of tracking down those people and paying them. Why would you do that when you can get the title card characters and then go and just make new characters around those? It looked fine. Again, I've said this before, I'm more of a fan of Tiny Toons than I was Animaniacs, because I just think that Animaniacs was more consistent, but I think Looney Tunes had more peaks and valleys. Like, I still love that Babs Bunny Dizzy Devil cartoon. The walls in the mall are totally, totally tall. That's one of my favorite bits out of the two. Like, if you had to, like, say, okay, pick your favorite bit between the two of them, I just don't know. I just like that. And then, of course, you got, like, weird, heartfelt moments from Animaniacs, like the little piece of birthday paper, and how and the littlest trailer, and the Dust Devil, very Disney-esque, sort of, like, and not even like parroting Disney, just like straight up, like, hey, we want to make a really kind of really weird tug on your heartstrings story. Yeah, it's just, again, good for the new character designer. They look great. They look streamlined. It looks like it's going to have a consistent style. You're not going to have like 12 different studios working on the show. So it's going to maintain that baseline. There's a few little odd, the modern technology has allowed you to sort of move a drawing from here to here, and you can notice that You can notice the little tweening animation. It was something that came up in the middle of the Invader Zim reboot I mentioned, where things are a little bit too tweeny in certain shots, and you can get that with the new show. But that's just I've learned to live with it. I mean, I can't have everything animated by TMS. Even though I desperately want to live in that world. Actually, no, I don't. The new TMS is basically just like cookie cutter, basically actual, like, kind of like the slow still frame anime kind of thing now. God, go back and watch. I've been tracking them down. Go back and watch the Bionic 6 episode, the last episode of Bionic 6. Watch the Wuzzles. They've got some amazing... It's like the first episode of The Wuzzle has like a chase sequence. And it's like... It's gorgeous. Like they drive around in cars. I forgot about that. So yeah, with all the reboots and everything, I'm not angry about reboots, but I haven't been watching like the DuckTales reboot. I catch it from time to time whenever I get a wild hair to sort of peek in on it. They've been doing some interesting things with Darkwing Duck, but it's just not kind of, I don't know. It's just, I haven't been, I'm letting that ride. I was really interested in Turtles. I caught up on that. That was a fantastic show. And it shows what you can really do with tween animation, but also make it look like everything. And it's not a right way and it's not a wrong way. It's just more like a way that works more than others. But yeah, and I absolutely have not touched the Chipmunks reboot, the CGI. I haven't watched any of that, and I think the Powerpuff Girls is still going. I don't know, but anyway, I think that wraps it up for now. Yeah. Ooh, that clipped. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Just. Well, anyway, I think that wraps it up for now. Again, I'm just kind of working with what I got when I can get it. So, again, thank you for everyone that asked for the new videos. I know people aren't clamoring for art casts, and I know they're not clamoring for the snack breaks, but I enjoy making them because they just help me figure out the logistics of filming. I have two PCs. I have one PC out here in the garage, and I have one PC in the room. It's now running some footage, processing that, so I can kind of work double time with different things. Also, I can come out here. I can record on a sort of... It's not a laptop, which is what I was doing. So I can come out here. I don't have to worry about overloading the encoder or anything, and I can just film out here. And the snack breaks, even though people I don't think really responded to them, were instrumental in learning how to. It's all a learning process. It's all a learning process, and we're going to keep on moving forward. Okay, everybody, I will check you out later.